on, we're live. Right, hello guys. I thought I'd do a little presentation on the kind of true meaning of Christmas on the 25th of December. I'm recording this on 24th, Christmas Eve. And I just thought I'd share this wonderful wisdom, which I think has been lost and buried and hidden, and not many people know. But when you do, it kind of will give a lot deeper meaning to this wonderful time of year. So we'll start at the top here. Literally have what we see on many world maps if people know their geography. I want to first shout out and credit Santos Bonacci, because through his work I've really learned a lot of this ancient wisdom, which is called the Prisca Theologia. You know, the Grand Arcanum, the Magnum Opus, astrotheology, astrology, and just the truth. I've been seeking the truth for 2.5 years now, and this can all be gleaned from a lot of ancient peoples and cultures and civilizations. Some of the greatest minds and philosophers, like the Platos, Pythagoreans, out of ancient Greece and ancient Egypt, and prior to that in Atlantis and Lemuria and Tartaria. You only have to do research, all the information's there. So yeah, it's just a matter of kind of unearthing it and bringing it back into the light, which we should all strive to do. And that's been my quest for the last 2.5 years, and boy, I've come into some really beautiful and great truths. But yeah, met with some resistance as always, but yeah, if you've got a pure heart, clear mind, courage and confidence, you'll uncover this and see the truth from the fiction and the fables, and dig into the deeper meaning of you know, who we are, why we're here, and where we're destined to go. But yeah, if you look up here on every map, world map, you have the Tropic of Cancer, which is defined in the northern hemisphere as the summer, and also the Tropic of Capricorn. And this sine wave, which is like an S shape, is the ecliptic. So this is the path the sun takes in our nights, in our skies, as we orbit the sun. That's the kind of geocentric model, the heliocentric or the flat earth model, depending on where your view lies on that. It doesn't matter. This is still the science of the sun's path through the skies, the ecliptic, which has its zodiac, 12 zodiac signs, which form Aphrodite's belt, which is the constellations the sun passes throughout the year. Thus we have Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. 21st of Cancer brings in the summer solstice. 21st of June, brings in the summer solstice, which is defined by Cancer. And then you have Leo, Virgo, Libra. Obviously, right on the turning point is the equinox, 21st of September. Then the sun falls down into the kind of lower realms. It's you know, really been diminishing at this point. Autumn comes in. So you've got Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, and that comes back round to Aries at the start of the true year, which is the start of the spring months. This is the kind of golden arc from Aries to Virgo, the green lush summer months, spring and summer months, and this is deemed the kind of winter, frozen, not much life. It's the opposite of live, which is evil, ruled by Saturn, you know, down here in Capricorn, where it's very cold, dry. This is all from a northern hemisphere perspective. So what I've done here, which is what you'd see in a lot of Santos's presentations, which is genius, is that you just bring this part of the sine wave back round on itself and form a full circle. And here I've just got some extra information, which you can see the spring, summer, autumn and winter months as the sun orbits and transits through the 12 zodiacal signs. We start in Aries, which is fixed fire. So you've got the cardinal, and these little glyphs here are fire, earth, air, water, fire, air, earth, water, fire, air, earth, water. And this is the holy science. They call it the holy science, the Prisca Theologia. It's astrotheology, and this pretty much can explain every single fairy tale, every single fable, myth, and anything to do with just kind of religion, because it is the cause. It is where everything emanates from in this world of effects. It is the causal kind of blueprint of our temporal world, which I find fascinating. So yeah, you've got the elements in here. You've got the the ruling planets. So the planets where they reside in the zodiac, basically, unique to that given zodiacal sign. Then you also have the cardinal, fixed and mutable signs, which are the 3 months that bring in the seasons, and then that wraps around perfectly, just like a watch. A Swiss watchmaker would be so kind of revered in this perfect knowledge where everything is in perfect place and harmony, because this is nature, this is God, basically, showing us how everything works in this temporal world that we live in. So you thus you have the sun and the moon, sun ruling Leo, which is fixed fire, makes sense. And then if you span either side, you have the king and the queen, and you have the Mercury ruling the two signs either side of that, which is closest to the sun, then Venus, then Mars, then Jupiter, and then Saturn down here in the winter months, defined by Capricorn and Aquarius here, opposing the sun, obviously in Leo, fixed fire, midsummer, midwinter, Aquarius, ruled by Saturn. And so with the 25th of December, in Gematria, if you add the two numbers together, equals 7, and the 7th letter in the alphabet is the letter G, which you have gold, God, generation, grace, giving, generosity, gratefulness, gateway, giving, grim, goat, green, good, geometry, gematria, the list goes on. It's a very important letter, obviously, in the Freemasonic sign of the G, with the kind of the compass and the right angle, defining geometry or gematria, all of them gods, the vagina, the portal, the gateway into this physical realm, earthly realm. But yeah, what I kind of was pondering and meditating on was the importance of the number 10, and how this all sinks in beautifully, synchronistically. This is syncretism. This unites all fields of study that this world is so far secularized, like the physics, the biology, astronomy, and theology. They're all one and the same when you use this model of pure, holy, syncretic wisdom, which is just absolutely beautiful once you do know. So we have Capricorn, which defines the winter solstice on the 21st of December, down here, which is the shortest day of the year in the northern hemisphere. The sun's light is at its kind of most diminished. It is almost dead in that respect. And what you have is at every solstitial point, the sun, for 3 days after the solstitial point on the 21st, appears to sit still on the horizon as it rises. And it's on the 4th day, which is the 25th, that it actually starts its climb back by giving it longer days and shorter nights, back up to its throne in Cancer on the 21st of June, which is the summer solstice, the day which brings in the longest amount of light and the shortest amount of darkness. Okay, so if we start our year, which is how the ancients used to, in Aries, April, apre means start. I think in Italian or Latin, I'm not too sure. I'm not an expert in languages like Sanzo Spinacci is. But you have the first month in Aries, the second Taurus, third in Gemini. So you've got March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Now this is where it starts to sink in. Sept is obviously 7. Oct is 8. You have an octave, octopus, 8 legs. Then you've got 9, which is November. That makes sense, that ties in beautifully. And Dec, December, which is the Decad, the number 10. So Capricorn is the 10th sign, which brings in the powers of the 10th month of December and this beautiful day we call Christmas. And the Capricorn sign is the goat, it's the mountain goat. Now why would they put that there? I mean, this is genius. Obviously because when the sun is at the winter solstice, it is diminished. It is effectually dead in the northern hemisphere. Its life force is drained drastically, and so it's kind of in its tomb for 3 days, dead. And then on the 25th, all of a sudden, you see it move on the horizon, where it climbs back a degree every day, back up to the spring equinox, where you get the Passover, when the sun passes over into the green, lush, life-giving spring and summer months, which are venerated, which we all love, which is why it's celebrating, and that's the equilibrium point, where you've got equal day and equal night. Then obviously climbs all the way back up to its throne on the 21st of June, which is defined by Cancer, which is the cardinal sign. So this cardinal sign, which is ruled by Saturn, which is the earth sign, comes up and is venerated over the 6-month period, where it climbs, symbolised by the mountain goat climbing the mountain, as the sun climbs up higher in the sky during its arc, its elliptical orbit, on the ecliptic, back into the 21st of June. Okay, and if you also label the alphabet around this beautiful zodiacal wheel, you have A, starting in Aries, which is the true start of the year, the sacred year that the Jews celebrate. You go B, C, D, E, F, G is right bang on the 21st of June. H, I, J, K, L, M is maritime, Mother, Mary, the Virgo, and this is where the sun sets on the equinox, sets, into the ocean, the maritime ocean. M, and there's a whole, M's are very powerful. These letters all have power. These numbers all have power in gematria. If you look at Alvin Boyd Kuhn, he goes into a lot more detail as to the alphabet and the significance of these letters, which we could go into, which I'll briefly explain. But then you come all the way down, following the kind of order, the numbers of the alphabet, dividing it, you get S right at the bottom, right on cue, which is obviously Saturn as it comes into Capricorn. And then with the S, you also have Santa, which is Satan, anagram of, which Satan is also just Saturn, which is the Saturnic energy that comes from Saturn. You've got snow there as well, which is defined as the winter, where pretty much nothing really lives. And so Satan is the ruler of kind of anti-life in that respect, because he is cold and dry in astrology. This is the humour that is given to that sphere. And so what you have in astrology, which can outline this perfectly, where the planets exalt is where they're glorified and venerated, and they give the most they're the most happiest in that sign. So you have the sun, of course, is exalted in Aries, and you also have Saturn, which sits right opposite, exalts in Libra, which is kind of like the conquering of the sun. This is the sunset, and this is the sun rising on the horizon, because you can also put in the time of day. So 6 a.m. will be here, 12 p.m, 6 p.m, 12 a.m, and then back around to 6 a.m. again. Okay, so you've got Horus and Set in the Egyptian theology, in mysticism. You also have, obviously, God and Satan, or Jesus and Satan, Cain and Abel, and they're sitting right opposite each other. It's just, it all comes together so beautifully well. And so, yeah, the significance of the letter G, this time of year, number 7, you can see it all tie in. Also see that you can have almost the J in the G, giving birth to Jesus, also. And you've got obviously the glyph of Saturn, which you could probably draw, which I could give an example of if you were to use this maybe as like a G, which goes all the way back around to the throne right at the top, which is quite interesting when you put that in there. And I think there's a lot of letters that you can actually draw. Most of the alphabet you can draw in here, when it's divided into this 12 section circle with the zodiac and the 12 signs. So yeah, you also have obviously Santa Claus, Santa Claustrum. You got the Claustrum. So this is another tie-in. So this is the as above science of the importance of the 25th of December, the birth of the sun, bringing in more light. As it climbs back up via the mountain goat in Capricorn, the number 10, the Decad. The Pythagoreans and the ancient Greeks knew the importance of the number 10. It's a complete number. It's the number of God. Number 9 is the number of man. If you have 666 and you add them together in gematria, it makes 18. 1 plus 8 is actually 9. It falls short of that God-like figure of number 10, which is complete. It's got the 1 and the 0. You can't get any more complete than the number 10. And so what you have in astrology is, through Saturn, our souls depart the Grim Reaper, which also you can see here, which is the J, which is the Jesus, is also the scythe. Okay, so you can have the handle of the scythe here, and you can follow it around, and there you go, you've got your scythe, and he's the Grim Reaper, which I refer to up here, the Grinch, the Grim Reaper, the Reaper of Souls. And so this is actually a gateway. Saturn, all these orbs, you know, they're gateways, they're portals. And so Saturn, if we were to draw and circle Saturn here, let's just give an example, see if we could do this a bit back to front. So if you have like a 6, you imagine drawing a 6 here. So we go, that makes sense, yeah. So you got like that. So you've got the circle at the bottom, and you come round, it's almost like a 6. Yeah? And then it said that in Capricorn, this is where we descend, this is where our souls descend into matter via the moon. So you've got the moon and Saturn, and then right opposite on the cardinal points of the solstitial axis. Okay, so you've got the 6-9, and this is quite important. The 6-9, if I just draw it here, the 6 and the 9 is also the S with the yin and yang symbol seen here, and this is the dance of the souls coming into this material realm and also exiting via Saturn into heaven, so to speak, or the higher realms, the Ein Sof. If you study Kabbalah, there's over 50 gateways, and there's 5 different levels of 10 spheres which your soul or spirit can ascend into or descend from, and each one has a unique energy, but it's Jacob's ladder basically. So this all ties in beautifully, and this is where the as above science comes in as below, because man is the measure of the universe, and the Hermetic mantra obviously as above so below. This all applies to our physiology. This is where you get the claustrum, okay, and the Christ, the chrism. We'll just put cows in there, obviously that's to do with the singing of around this time of year. But the chrism is a psychophysical germ that is released in the solar plexus, which is called Bethlehem in physiology, in occult anatomy, and this is where a seed is released, which is the same as basically this Christ fluid, which is part of the central cerebrospinal system. And that if you kind of remain celibate or live a life in moderation, where you're not squandering that sacred fluid, that chrism, which is basically semen. This is why they created what do they call it? This is why they created seminaries to teach the young priestcraft how to control their life force, because it is probably the most powerful energy that we can harbour, is the sexual desire, the sexual energy. And so what happens is also there's a mini kind of Christmas going on each month in our bodies, where cheeses Christ, which is basically this chrism, this energy. It's a seed, psychophysical germ, which you can get more information on through Manny P. Hall discusses it in the Occult Anatomy of Man, which is a must read. And you also have George W. Carey, God, Man, the Words Made Flesh. Definitely recommend reading those 2 books to find out. Also this book here, The Secret Teaching of All Ages, is a must read. I've highlighted pretty much the whole book as I've read it. I've almost completed it, but it's got all the wisdom briefly summarised across most cultures and mystery schools that have formed over the last few thousand years, probably longer, and it's just the study of this, the holy science, which is nature, which is like a clock. It's self-evident once you start researching and finding out for yourself that it is the truth, and it is worth knowing, because it will give a lot more deeper meaning to your life, rather than just chasing material things which are empty, and basically just leave you feeling more and more need to get you know, it's basically an empty pursuit, and it's full of false hopes, dreams and promises. I mean, I've been through that, been down that road, and luckily I had an awakening back when I was 28 years old, in Saturn's return, funnily enough, and it's just been a great unravelling ever since then. So yeah, we've got this thing going on where the claustrum is an organ in our brain, which basically releases this chrism, this christic kind of fluid, and it descends down the spine, like Santa descending down the chimney, where he leaves presents on the bottom of the tree. The tree is your spine. Look at the lumbar section, it's like the lumberjack. It's significant to the tree. It's also an S, it's shaped in an S, so it's like the serpent. Everything's a septenary, it's number 7 again. It's a serpentine kind of force, like the sperm. If you look at the skull and the spine alone, we're just like a sperm with its head, but then just encased with a couple of arms and a couple of legs and a torso. We're pretty much no different in that respect. But you got, yeah, the tree, the spine, lumbar, raising the chrism. So it's up to us over the 28-day period, using the moon, which this claustrum acts like an oyster, which opens up whenever your moon is in your sun sign at birth, and releases this chrism, which is, I think it's differentiated via your pineal and pituitary glands, and then it descends down the spine, the cerebral spinal system, and ends up in the sacrum, the secret, you know, the chamber of secrets, basically the philosopher's stone. And this sacred fluid is then ascended if you live a kind of balanced life, and you reserve your life force, your semen, especially in blokes and in women. And you practice white tantra sex, which can help in kundalini, like breath work. As long as you're keeping the energy and your fluids within you, your sacred fluids, you can help by pumping this back up your spine, where your moon then transits your sun sign again, which opens up, or when the full moon comes, and it opens up your pineal gland and your pituitary gland. Because if you put, they're like cloisters, these glands. If you put cloisters or clams on a tray and you watch and observe over 28 days, you'll see them open and close with the waxing and waning of the moon. So these organs operate in conjunction with the moon, which rules pretty much your pineal gland, and the third, you know, the eye of Horus, the claustrum, and all that in the head. So if you're able to practice retaining the semen, retaining this energy, practice breath work, obviously exercise, white tantra sex, and reserve that sacred fluid, you can raise the chrism back up the chimney, from the presents that were left in the bottom of the tree. You can raise it back up your spine and into your pineal glands, where it is crucified, basically. And crucifixion means something that is times by 1,000, and that actually activates more dormant brain cells, gets rid of like all the amyloid plaque in your heads, and just reactivates your DNA and your higher self, where you can connect more to, you know, your higher self, which is in the realms beyond, as these brains are just antennas. You know, the consciousness is not created by the brain. We receive our consciousness, so we can actually fine-tune our antenna, just as we fine-tune a radio, and seek different stations with varying degrees of knowledge. We can also tune our vehicles and our instrument via this process to help us tune into a higher frequency of truth and our higher selves. And this way you're going to start kind of deprogramming, start seeing the light of truth from delusion and fiction, which is what this world has been based in and has been kind of run on over the last few thousand years during the Kali Yuga phase, which is like the Iron Age, the dark age of human consciousness. We've been asleep, basically. And if you if you think and walk this earth thinking that we're the most advanced species to ever have walked here, then you are so wrong, my friend. That is beyond belief. We are at the arse end of humanity, evolution. So we are just about to ascend. Likewise, we have obviously the annual year, the 12 months. We've got something that's called a great year, where our sun actually orbits a star called Sirius, which is its mother star, the grand central sun, I think in Hindu they call it. And so we're actually starting to wax again back towards this mother sun, this grand central sun, with it bestowing us with greater energy, because these two suns are linked. These suns are like neurons, basically, in this universe, which is a mind of, you know, the most infinite high creator. and so the closer they are, the more they can communicate with one another and give forth, greater energies and greater wisdom. So yeah, all this is, what have I got down here, is a day of veneration of the sun as above. This is the esoteric knowledge, but of course the church have you believe that there had been a literal Jesus, which is just the sun anthropomorphized as a being, so we can all relate to it. But the profane and the prosaic, and those who are stuck in the material left-brained minds, will only see it as literal and not as transcendental, these crude allegories of scripture. And what it's referring to as above is our beautiful sun, which is the life giver, which gives us generation, goodness, gold, summer months, spring, life, joy, happiness, melatonin, all these important properties that we need. If the sun wasn't here, it's the heartbeat of our universe, of our solar system. And likewise in the heart of man, Leo, the lion heart, is our magnetic pulse. So it's superior, and it's worth worshipping. And it's feminine and masculine, it's androgen. So snap out of the paternalistic left brain masculine approach and approach it more sacred feminine in that respect, and see them equal, because they're one and the same. There's three suns. You've got the physical sun, the spiritual sun, and the soulful sun. But all it is on this magical day, 25th of December, is the birth of Jesus, which is the birth of the sun after its death, suffering from the sting of Scorpio, and the arrow of Sagittarius, and the arrow in Achilles, the hero, which is just another anthropomorphized version of the sun, is starting to climb back to his throne, back up to the 21st of June, G, where G is present, the god, sat on his throne at the summer solstice, bringing in the radiant summer months. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful science. So yeah, and likewise as below, it's also a time to remind ourselves who we are and that we're intricately linked. There's no separation here. The sun does pass through our whole body, energetically and physically, spiritually and soulfully, and so it's very important to follow its path as it follows the path in our own body. As the ecliptic, if you had the head of man here in Aries, you had the neck in Taurus, you've got the two arms, so you've got the cerebrum, which is the higher mind. Even Ram is in the cerebrum, right ascension of meridian. Okay, then you've got the cerebellum, the bull, Taurus, the bull, which is the lower brain, it rules the neck and the shoulders. Okay, and you've got Gemini, which are the twins, the two hands, arms and the lungs, ruled by air. Okay, Taurus is earth element, this is where we eat, it rules the neck and the mouth. This science is so perfect that it cannot be debunked. I mean, I've looked for leaks in it, but it just works, because it's God, it's the word of God, it's the will of God. It is perfect in every sense. Everything fits together perfectly, like a jigsaw puzzle. You put all the pieces together and you just get this complete holistic view on everything that has ever been thought of man under the sun and woman. Incredible. Then you've got Cancer, which rules the breast, which is water. Then you've got Sun, the heart, the pulse, the cardiovascular system. Then you can imagine Virgo, the belly, the digestive system. Libra, the two kidneys, balance, equilibrium, right in the equinox. Then you've got Scorpio, the generative system. Then you've got Sagittarius, which is the hips, the thighs, the rule of the thighs, which is the man climbing out of the horse lower body, which is also transcendental to what we're here to do. The Grand Arcanum, Magnum Opus, is realise that we can rise from our animal consciousness, our lower consciousness, into our higher selves, and that symbol is kind of showing the transmigration or the transcendentation of man, the apotheosis of man into his higher self, woman into her higher self, to become a god. And then you've got Saturn, rules the kneecaps in Capricorn. The kneecaps rules the skeletal system, the bones, the structure, the spirit, the scaffolding. So he's very much he's cold and dry. He can be harsh, but with him, he is very disciplined, and he's here to teach you with tough love, so to speak, which I think is probably the best way to learn, is through tough love. and he wants for everyone to ascend back out of his realm, which this is Satan's realm. This is ruled by Saturn. He's Lord of the Rings. He's the one that takes 28 years out of the 7 that controls our physical world, which many allude to. He is Satan, but he also wishes to let us pass through the gateway of the gods, which is the number 10. And so this is why you got the 69, and the 6 is very important. It's a very important number. Nikola Tesla said, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, then you must know the importance of 369. Well, you've got the 6 and you've got the 9 right here, and this is transcendental wisdom. You will not this video will probably get shut down. I've made comments on this, and some videos have been deleted off of the people's channels that I've actually commented on, but this wisdom is deep and they don't want us knowing. But the 3's got many different meanings. That's also a powerful number. And I think if you draw a 6 like this, and then you draw the 9 inside it, you have the spiraling vortex nature of every toroidal field that forms our universe in atomic nature. Because we are all an anatomy, atoms. We are made of atoms, which are just energy represented in the spiral of the 6 and the 9. Okay, and this is also ruled by the golden ratio, phi. Yeah, 1.618. And so the 3, this is this is from the top down view. If you then brought it down to a horizontal view, where you're looking at the plane, which is like the galaxy, which all things have an equilibrium, which is like a thin plane, horizontal plane, which is basically the sine wave. So this is the magnetic pulse, and this is the transverse wave, which is ruled by electricity. So you've got the blue shift, red shift, blue shift, which is the duality, the principle of duality. And the 3, you can argue, is the shape that gives form to the toroidal field. If you drew one in reverse, there you have the secrets of the universe, basically, where this vortex in energy is persistently creating this dualistic temporal world. So yeah, I thought I'd share my thoughts on this time of year. It is beautiful. It is worthy of celebration. Yes, it is a time of getting together and spending time with your loved ones and family, but it's also a time to reflect and meditate on the importance of this wisdom, which is the true celebration of the sun bringing in the life force, the birth of Jesus, the Son, on the 25th, bringing in longer days and shorter nights as it ascends back up via the goat of Capricorn, the gateway of the gods, the number 10, the Decad, back to its throne, where the G rules, overseeing the spring and summer months, the green pastures, G for green. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. And obviously don't forget, we are all the sun. We are all children of God, and the symbol of the sun. O with the dot in the middle. Middle O, that's my nickname. I didn't realise, but it makes sense, you know. This is all, we're all here, we're all solar worshippers, heliognostics. You've got to follow the sun. Pay respects to the other planets, but they're all reflectors of the sun's unconditional life-giving energy. So it's only through the sun that you'll be saved, and for yourself, knowing that you are one and the same. So yeah, once you do know that your body is a temple, you should treat it as such, temple of the gods. The gods can come within you and your higher self, which is a god. This is your path back. This is the great work that all philosophers and mystery schools try and attain with their initiates. But if you're too profane and worry too much about money, lustful, licentious acts and desires, and endless pursuits, then you're never going to realise this. You need to be spat back out via the moon again, as the Grim Reaper comes and takes your soul, because every one of us is born in time, or have to die in time. So if you make it to Saturn's gate and you ask for everlasting eternal life, and he asks you what you have done, what do you know, are you worthy? I think you'll know the answer. Have you done enough? We're here to collect wisdom. This is the soul food. This is the currency of the universe, is knowledge. It's the most important thing in the universe is knowledge. So if you're not here seeking the truth and you're only seeking material things, then you're just going to be spat back until you realise who you are, where you've come from, and where you've got to go back to. All the information's here and on the internet. We are literally in the apocalypse thanks to the internet. So take advantage of it before they start censoring everything, and know who you are. Know thyself. It's the most powerful phrase that any philosopher can really use as a goal to unravel and kind of, you know, to try and attain. Know thyself. We're in the age of Aquarius. It rules I know. So it's up to each and every one of us. We are the ones we've been waiting for. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Please leave any comments below. Obviously, like this science, there is so much more to ponder as you meditate. There's so many things that I probably missed out. But together, we can fit together the whole picture. This is the point. Together we will rise. Divided we will fall. So it's all about bringing in this new age of truth, wisdom, togetherness, unity, and together we can literally shake off all the bad vibrations of this planet and bring in heaven on earth, literally. Because so far hell's been ruling here for the last 2,000 years. So it's about time that the balance has shifted, which it will in good time. But the more of us that jump on board this ancient wisdom and send out conscious shockwaves into this kind of matrix that we're in, then the sooner we can bring it in, bring it home, and really enjoy this temporal world, which does have its beauty. Even though it's ruled by Saturn, it is materialistic, it's limited through these 5 senses. We can still use it as a beautiful platform in order to grow from and ascend out of here consciously. So it's all up to us at the end of the day. So yeah, please like, comment, and let me know what you think. I will be posting more videos on my thoughts at different times of the year as I follow the sun around its magical path. So stay tuned, and wish you all the best and a Merry Christmas. God bless. Take care. Bye bye.